Hi, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. So great to be here with you. How are you doing?
I'm fine too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin, for giving me an opportunity to interview you today. And thank you for being here with me.
Hey, entirely my pleasure. And you are looking as amazing as always.
Thank you. So kind of you. So for those who don't know Kevin, Kevin is an Australian leading profit maximization expert with almost 2 decades of experience as a senior leader, financial strategist, and international speaker. Kevin has worked with world organizations like Airbus, Intel Corporation, Qantas, Business Travel, and much, and many more, both small and medium and large business. So Kevin, I have some questions for you.
I'm excited to answer them.
Thank you so much. So my first question is, you are a British man living on the other side of the world in Australia. You start out as an accountant and now you spend most of your time working with people, helping them to profit their business. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes, yeah. And I've changed my description these days. I'm not British. I'm British Australian. I'm half British, half Australian. And there was a point in my career in my late 20s, and I was working for organizations, as you said, like Airbus. And I came to the point where I thought I would take some time out to travel. And I traveled through South America and New Zealand and Australia. And by the time I got to Australia, I was meant to keep going through Asia, but I fell in love with Australia. And I was meant to be here for a few weeks, but 13 years later, I'm still here. They've given me the passport, and I love being here. It's such a wonderful country to be in, and I think during that time, I was still an accountant. I think I decided I was going to take a year out to travel, and people giving me career advice would say, "Hey, don't do it. It's the worst time to do it. It's not going to be great for your career." But actually, when I got on the other side of the world, I'd had so many more experiences. I landed up in a job that was paying me twice what I was earning in the UK, right? And then my career developed and grew and had opportunities I never would have. So I think sometimes we take these risks or these opportunities to do something different, and we could stop ourselves because of the fear. But when we actually step into it, it creates new opportunities and new perspectives and new things. And I'm thankful and I'm blessed. If I didn't take that round the world trip, then I wouldn't have stumbled into the opportunities that I have now, because when I got here, I was working for an organization, and they were sending me into the business units that weren't working. And something happened there that really changed everything for me, because I could go into these business units and work out what was going wrong and what we needed to change to improve the profitability. But when there are problems in a business, you also have people problems. People get upset or challenged or emotional. I had no skills or no training to deal with that. The best that I had when someone was upset or crying on me was like, well, here you go, like have a tissue, right? And that just, that's not really the best solution. It's not
That's a
really,
good
it's a nice
start.
thing, but it's, so I went and got some training on how to be a more effective leader, how to understand and communicate with people better. And that's what shifted everything for me, because in one of those trainings, I learned this thing that you can change your psychology and your mindset. You can change how you think about things. I kind of felt stuck in many areas of my life, and I thought that was it. I thought it was my lot. But once I realized I can change my thinking, it changed how I felt. It changed the actions I could take, and then the results that I get. Now, once I learned I could do that for myself, that became way more interesting. And as much as I love the business and the finance, and helping businesses change that way, working with people, now that was just way more interesting. If I could help make a difference in their life, then that was finding my passion, my mission, my purpose, I guess. And over the years, I've been able to combine those two together, because I work with business people and helping them to grow their business through the psychology and the business strategy. So long-winded answer, but hopefully it captured your brilliant question.
Love that. I love that. So I believe our readers and listeners love that as well. So thank you so much for being honest with us, Kevin. And
My
so,
pleasure.
Kevin, you had been help your clients improve their business profit. You help them to create cash flow and grow their network. You can give our reader and listener some tip to help maximize their profit, please.
Oh yes, I would love to. There's so much we can talk about on this. What I'd love to do, because there's so many things, and we're not going to be able to share them all here, is I'd like to give your readers and your listeners a free report that I've created. It's called "Stop Leaking Profit," because I notice so many business owners, they're all out there looking for more revenue. But what I find is if I actually went and stood next to them and had some buckets, I would be able to scoop up all the buckets that they're missing and the opportunities. So there's a free report I've created. And I would love to give that to your listeners or your readers. So that would be cool if they want to access that one. Now, what we can do on today's call, though, let me take you through, some of the common things that business owners are missing out on that would really make a big difference in their business. So one of the first things is really maximizing the lifetime value of a client. Right? Some people get a client and do one thing with them and then they let them go away and they don't really think about how they can serve them for a longer period of time. Now we know it's more effective financially to market and work with the existing client than it is to go away and attract and find a new client. So we want to keep our clients as long as possible and serve them with as much value as we can, things that they need, things that we serve them. So one of the first things I'd like your listeners to think about is, how can they upsell existing clients? What are additional products or services that they can give their existing clients to help them, help the client on a longer journey? Let me give you an example. I was talking to, I was working with a leading marketing training school in Australia yesterday, and we were looking at what they did. Typically, their program would last 1 year. And then once they've done that year, client disappears. Now, the challenge is these people are so skilled and they've got so much abilities. They can work with people for 10 years. Like there's no problems on that. So we started looking in, well, what could we do to help those clients, get more value and work longer with you? Now, we kind of worked out quite easily, if we framed it in the right way, we could frame their first program, not for a 1 year program, but a 2 year program. Now, all of a sudden, if we did that, if all of them took it, then they doubled their revenue. But even if 20% of them took that offer up to work for 2 years rather than 1 year, then there's a significant growth there. We started looking, well, what else can they do? These people are experts in writing and publishing books. They don't offer that. They don't train that. They're experts in speaking on stages and selling things virtually. They don't offer that. They don't give that. They have a great team who are amazing at building websites and doing SEO. And they're not actively, offering that as much as they could do. So look, here's a handful of examples of just of the upsell then of how can we begin to offer the clients additional products or services, and that would actually help. That would help maximize their revenue before they even went out and marketed any new clients. They could with their own clients. So there's a bit of an example there of upsell and cross-sell, because the cross-sell piece is selling something maybe a little bit different to what you're offering that the client may need. They don't offer, as a cross-sell, they don't offer virtual assistant services. All of their clients would need a virtual assistant service, to help them grow their business, to free up their time. So they can go and partner with another company that offers that service that would really add value to their clients. And of course, would bring more money back into the business. So there's two immediate things there: upselling, cross-selling. So what else, what additional value can you be offering to your clients that they need, that you'd be happy to provide?
Wow. I love that. Ooh, that's
okay.
good.
Shall I keep going? Are you happy with that? Or
Yes, please keep going. Keep going.
The other thing that a lot of business owners are missing, they're leaking profit on, is referrals. Right? If you are doing such a great job and your clients love working with you, then are you actively, and I don't just mean they happen to send people away, are you actively building it into your process so that it's consistent, that they send people your way? Now, I know you do a great job and you would have people referred to you just because you do a great job, but what would happen if we put it in your process so at the point they sign up with you, we frame it that, hey, when we work together and presumably you're getting great results, we're going to be looking to ask you for who do you know who would need our service, to make an introduction. And then when they're at the height of their experience, if we can be asking them. And then if in the process, we can have embedded stories about how this works and how they can refer people. And we actually have a process to help them how to ask and the right email. So if we can put a right sequence in there, wouldn't it be amazing if we could start getting more referrals? Now, one of my clients, Luke in Brisbane, he's an exercise physiologist, and we set out this plan about how could we grow his business through referrals. Now, he set an ambitious goal. I even as a coach, I thought it was reasonably ambitious. And he set the goal that he was going to get one client via referral every day of the year. So 365 for the year. And I got to say, he didn't quite get there in year one because he got 520. right? 520 new clients by asking his existing clients and existing network on who do they know who needs his service and his support. Now you can imagine what impact that has on your business. He's now had to employ a heap more people to be able to service these clients. We did that strategy 4 years ago. Every year he's still doing it, so every year he can use that strategy again and again. So if you're not actively getting more clients via referral, then do you need to take a look at your system and your process? Can we put something in place there?
Wow, that's a cool tip. Wow, I also going to start to doing that.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Then in which case, and I think you should, because the core to having a good referral strategy is being, really given a great product or great service. If you don't have great product or great service, then no one's going to want to refer you. Now, I know you, and I've experienced, your energy and what you bring to the calls and the interactions we've had. I really get the feeling that you do a great job. So I think actively asking your clients who else they know, who else would need this, I think it's an easy win for most people, most business owners.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Is it also some affiliate? Is also some kind of referral of different?
Yes, yeah, affiliate can be. And I typically think of affiliates, it's probably a little bit more of a formal arrangement in that, I think of affiliates normally with IT companies or something software related, because not even software, but on the computer, because I could give you an affiliate code and then you can go and promote it to your database, your network. And then when they click that link, I know, well, you sent them my way. So if they sign up, I can give you money for the sign up or ongoing money as they continue to pay me. So affiliate is perhaps, it's perhaps a more formal way of doing that. Now, some people who are affiliate marketers, they're not just helping to sell your product or your service to their existing network. They're actively going out there and finding new people for you as well. So they probably take that to the next level. I've got a colleague who does this super well. He's an affiliate marketer. He will go and interview, very skilled people like John Assaraf or, people of that nature. And he will not only market that to his database, but he'll run ads or promote that to a wider audience, because then that in turn helps John Assaraf, but it also helps get him commission for doing that. So I think affiliates taking it to the next level where someone's, not just using their existing network, they're actively going beyond that. Now, that's great. If you get people who want to do that for your business, then they're wonderful.
Wow. Ooh, I love that. That's the next level. Thank you. Thank you. I write everything down. I'm going to start doing what you give tips to us.
Good. Well, and here's the thing: we don't necessarily need to do everything I talk about today. You could just pick one thing. If you focus on one of those things in a month, and that was your focus, then great. I mean, imagine you focused on just offering one additional service or one additional product that you already have or you already could do, and even if 20% of these clients take it up, brilliant. Or if you happen to go ahead and ask for referrals and you get one referral, well, there you go. That's extra money in your pocket. So absolutely, don't have to do them all. Just focus on one at a time and get it working.
Oh my God, I love that. The 365 year. You just refer to one to one, and it's already expanding, like natural expand, right?
Well, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kevin. So it's very helpful.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So the next question, Kevin, you have been trusted by Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
And you have been speak in several times in his events. What are the most valuable insights that you have gained from that experience?
Yeah, it was a real privilege for me to have the opportunity to work within Tony's organization. I mean, the guy is very skilled and very experienced at what he does, and his care and passion for his customers and his community is unrivaled. So when you get the opportunity to present on his stage, it's fantastic. The audience is very warm, very energized. So they're very receptive and responsive, which is, is a wonderful experience to have, to be able to present to an audience like that. Now, I think I've had the privilege of working with Tony, but I've also interviewed a wider range of other leading experts in the industry, and, New York Times bestselling authors, presidential advisors, people who, sold their business for $135 million, people who have, worked in, at Harvard, as a psychologist, in the business school. So I've had the privilege of interviewing a lot of those different people, and, I'm working with Tony, and I've learned a wide array of things. And I wonder what's the most important to say. I had this really valuable lesson, because I've coached a lot of very senior people, senior leaders, and executives in organizations. I even had the privilege at one point of being in a, coaching session with the Admiral of the US Navy. And I think I learned something. I kind of had this vision that when people get to that status and that level, like they've got everything sorted, like they think, there's no obstacles, no problems for them. But what I actually learned in those calls is even those people have fears and doubts and beliefs, and even they feel like they're not good enough. Imagine you're an advisor to the president and you still don't feel good enough. Right. So I just want to kind of share it. It was kind of like a great equalizer for me, which is that everyone has that belief on some level that they're not good enough. Everyone has that belief on some level that they fear that, they're not going to be loved, or they're not going to get the outcome. There's not, things are not going to be good enough. So I think that's one really valuable thing. I want to encourage anyone listening, like if you have that fear or that doubt, I want you to recognize straight away, it's natural. Everyone has that doubt, right? Everyone has that. But hey, there's a difference. The difference between someone who stays where they are and doesn't move on and someone who gets to that level of success is that they choose what they buy into. They choose what they're listening to and hear. If they want to listen to that belief all the time that I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy, they'll never feel the way they need to feel, and they'll never take the actions they need to take. But if they choose to listen to something else, if they hear this fear, I'm not good enough, but then they have this bigger vision or this bigger dream, like, what if I could do that? And then they focus on what they want and take actions every day towards what they want, then it's a higher probability that they're going to get there than if they just tune into I'm not good enough and then don't take the action.
Wow. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I feel so much energy from just listen to this.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, wow.
It was the right story to share with you then.
Thank you so much. It's really helped that, wow, who are you, Jan? You have some fear and doubt, which is normal. Look at people who hire successful, who are the world billionaire. They still have some fear and doubt.
Oh, yes, they do. And some of them even more than others. Look, sometimes some of those fears or doubts is the very thing that drives them. Right, is the very thing that keeps them moving forward. Their beliefs and associations drive it.
To improve
that's right.
That's right. Overcome fear. Wow.
And overcome fear. Yeah, and keep going even in spite of the fear. I think that's right. Now, let's think about someone who's super famous, right? Donald Trump, love the guy or hate the guy, but you look at his associations. His association is that he cannot be second. He cannot lose. Now, how much do you think that's impacted him in his business dealings? How much has that impacted him in his political dealings? Now, that may have positive impacts and negative impacts in the way that he shows up, in the way that he behaves, but that drive to never lose, that's a prime kind of motivational factor for him to keep going. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing, and I'm not saying that that's what everyone needs to do, but I want to point out that different people have different beliefs and associations, and that's what really drives us. So, hey, if you want to accomplish anything or have success in anything, I think the most important thing that I've learned from all of the people I've studied, all the people I've coached or worked with, is you have to have a clear vision. Where do you want to go? What's the outcome that you want? And I guess the clearer you are with that vision, the more likely you can get there. I was listening to, whether you like his music or not, Kanye West. I watched a documentary on him the other day, and something clicked for me in what he said, right? He's had amazing success in his music, maybe even in his fashion, and no doubt whatever else he puts his mind to. But he says something, it was showing him in his 20s before he had a record deal with a record label. And he said, every day I walk to the bus stop, I'm visualizing my Grammy speech, or I'm visualizing, collecting my Grammy, right? I'm visualizing what I'm going to say when I collect my Grammy, right? And this is when he's on a bus before he's got a record deal. And so he's rehearsing that and thinking about that and imagining that in advance in such detail, what he's going to say, where he's going to be, what he's going to say in advance. Now, of course, many years later, I don't even know how many Grammys that guy's got. I mean, I think it's 10s, maybe even 20. I'm not that close to music, but he's visualizing that in advance, seeing things the way he wants to be. And then, of course, he's taking the right action to move him towards that, to make that reality. So whatever your vision is, let's get more associated with it. The more you can kind of picture it, see it, hear it, feel it, imagine what it's like, the more you feel connected with it, the more motivated you're going to be to take action towards it.
Ooh. Oh. I love that. I love that. It's just some kind of something that I also teach my client to come back to your own tempo, which is body, to feel, like Kevin said, visualizing yourself, use visualization and use the body, right? Allow your body to feel, and then take a little step, to overcome your fear. And then, of course, you're going to reach your goal.
That's right. Hey, well, and I love what you said. Your point is really, really amazing. You like come back to your body, come back to your tempo.
The tempo.
So I'm talking about visualization. You're taking it to the next level because you're talking about sensorization. Don't just see it, like feel it.
Feel it. Yes.
Hear it. Smell it. What's that? Taste it. What's it going to be like? If you can get wrapped up in all of those senses, you're even more associated with it. You're even more pulled towards it.
Yes. And even though I listen to you, I feel already that and my energy is expanding because observe your knowledge and wisdom alone, and that's kind of magic happen that you can, you can experience that, allow your body to experience and observe and suck all the right information, right? As you mentioned earlier, Kevin, that successful people, they have so much fear, but they choose to listen to the right information and they take small action toward the right information.
That's right. They focus on the outcome that they want and not the obstacles that are in front of them, which is why you hear people talk about vision all the time, and it's because that vision needs to be bigger and brighter than any obstacles that are going to come in your way. Because the reality is it's never a straight line. You may think that, hey, I'm going to do this. And you may even, one of the things that you spoke about, Tony, one of the things he shares is that success leaves clues. So if you go and find someone who's having the success that you're having and ask them, how do they do that, and learn from them and apply it, then ideally there should be a straight line towards it. But I guarantee you're going to run into obstacles or paths or things come up in your way that they didn't think about or they never experienced. Right. So it's so important, that vision is big enough or compelling enough that you don't get to the first obstacle and say it's too hard, it's not worth it. You need something big enough, bright enough that's going to pull you towards it. And no matter what those obstacles, you can step over them, step around them, step through them, whatever you need to do to get your outcome.
Oh, great. I love that. Thank you. And so, Kevin, do you think a role model is important in your success life and business?
100%. And I don't think just one, I think multiple role models. Because if you have an example of someone who's living in the world in the way that you want or the way that you aspire to be, well, one, it gives you a clue that, hey, that's possible, right? And two, they're a prime example, is a good motivation for you to move towards them. Now, I go a step further than that with those role models. Is one thing to look at them or understand what they do, but it's even better if you can get in behind their beliefs. What do they believe? What are they thinking about? Because if you hear someone's beliefs, then it's also going to, if you can try on those beliefs, it's going to help you move forwards. I was speaking with a guy this week, and he's in one of these programs. You pay $100,000 a year to be in this program, and it's only with very senior, very elite people. I asked him, hey, well, you've been in that program for 2 years now. What is the biggest thing that you've learned? He said, I have this new belief. And he said, the belief is these people are no better than me. I can do anything they can do. Now, that's a powerful belief. Like if you try on that belief, if you're looking at those people who are having this immense success, and you say, hey, I can do what they can do, that's powerful. That's going to move you forwards.
Yeah.
So what are the beliefs that your mentors have? Now, if you can't actually get around these people, maybe they have books, maybe they have podcasts. Listen in for what are the beliefs that they're asking, what are the beliefs that they have about themselves? What are the beliefs they have around the world? And if you can try them on. Now, you mentioned Tony Robbins. I'll come back to him because he interviewed a lot of sports athletes. And there's one belief I keep hearing him say, he's taken from these athletes. And this athlete said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm going to demand more from myself than anyone else will ever expect. Right? You hear this athlete say this. This athlete was at the top of his game. I demand more from myself than anyone else will ever expect. I've heard Tony Robbins say this again and again and again. And then you watch what he does and you see the things that he accomplished. And I think he lives by that. I think he does demand more from himself than, than anyone else would expect. So I think well, what are the beliefs that your mentors have? What are the questions that you know, they have? And that was the purpose of the podcast that I did, is called Life-Changing Questions, because what we think about impacts what we feel, impacts the actions that we take and the results that we get. So questions are really, you know, our way of kind of going internal and asking that question, changing our thinking. So I went out and sought some of these mentors or role models that you talk about, and I asked them, like, well, what's the one thing, or the one question you've asked that's had the biggest positive impact on your life or the life of the people that you serve? Now, that question is such an important thing to understand, because if you can understand that question, you understand what's driving their thoughts and their behaviors. So you try on that question and you apply it, and of course, it's going to get those results in your life. Now, let me share some of these questions with you then, because one of the questions of a very successful business person, business mentor, was his question was, how can I best serve? How can I best serve? Not how can I go and get the most money? How can I best serve? So he was looking, how could he use his skills and abilities to the highest advantage of others? And when he was focused on that, he was finding the problems in the marketplace that he can go and help with. So how do I best serve?
Wow. Wow. Ooh, that's a powerful question, huh?
It is. It is.
Do you want to explain a little bit about, because I talking about that, I have conversation with you earlier about how can I best serve, but can you explain to our readers and speakers and listeners, please?
Well, and the answer to that question is, how can you use your skills and abilities to the highest advantage of others? You have done all sorts of things up to this point in your life, and you have experiences and knowledge and skills in your head that other people don't. Right? And we take this for granted. Like we kind of discount all of the things that we've done, and we don't see it enough because we're too close to it. As an example, someone asked me to present to a group of business owners on how to understand their numbers and their profitability. Now, with my background being accounting and finance, I mean, straightforward for me. I did something which I thought was really, really basic, really simple. And because I've done it so many times, like second nature to me. But when I taught it to this group, for many of them, it was the first time they saw it, and the light bulbs were going off. They were understanding if they changed their product or the service mix, they would have more profitability. Right. So something that I thought was relatively simple for me, because I've done it so many times, it was actually highly valuable for other people. Now, I think within all of our listeners, you've got skills and abilities that you're taking for granted right now. You've done things that other people haven't, and they won't get to, and they would love to be where you are now. Right. If you've taken 2, 3, 4, 5 years to build the skill, other people don't have that. So I would definitely want to be tapping into your skills and abilities. How do we use those to help other people? And I guarantee in everyone I've ever spoken to, they've got some skill or some experience that other people want.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. Ooh. Ooh. This speaking, you know, is going to help millions of people to really knowing that wherever they are, it's okay. You can get better, you can do better, you can have better. But right now, here and now is a perfect time to share what you already have.
You already have everything you need. Already have everything you need. You use the skills you have and take what you have and start with that. Now, not to say that you're not going to grow and change along the way, but start with what you've got and share that, because there will be other people who would love to be in your position with your skills and your abilities.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
Let me add something to that. Something's coming up for me. It's a quote I haven't thought about for a while. I think I want to say it's by Howard Thurman, but I might not be right. And he said something like, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is people who've come alive.
Oh, that right? I love that. Oh, I
love it. It's a great quote.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So if if you're in a position in your business, or you're not clear on what you want to do, or you're a coach or consultant, you're not clear, look at what are your skills and abilities. What are the things that you've already got that you can use to the highest advantage of others? And I guarantee you can't have come this far without picking up some skills and abilities that other people find valuable.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a million word. $1 million roadmap. That's what you give us. Thank you so much. Oh my God. That's why I love interviews people. You know, I learn along during the interviews. I love that.
Oh, and I love being interviewed by you. Your energy is amazing. It's so good.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin. So I have the next question. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go. Yeah.
So your clients enjoy the benefits of your mastery and make a difference in the world. What have you learned from your own business? Is I already asked, right? This one?
No, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. What have I learned from my own business? I think this is good because let me take a step back. I work with a lot of business owners.
If what you learn from your own business with what you have and what is your wisdom, how can you help them to get better result in life and in business?
Yeah, there's so many ways I can answer that. With my work and my business, I typically work with 7-figure plus businesses, and I really help them maximize their profitability. But along the way, because I've been a coach and a consultant in my own business, I've had to overcome the hurdles of being a successful coach and consultant. And I know you have a lot of listeners who are in that space, coaching, consulting, maybe experts that way. So I think there's kind of 5 things, and I thought about this before because you shared with me, there's 5 things along the way that have really, I've noticed, keep coaches or experts or consultants stuck. And if they don't overcome these hurdles, then they're not going to have the success that they need in the business. So if it works for you, I'll share those 5 areas that people become stuck, and then we can talk about how do they get over them. Does that work? Yeah. Wow. Okay, good. So I like to think about it is these 5 stages. You can spell out the word coach. But number 1 is clarity. A lot of coaches, consultants, experts, they don't really have clarity on who they're serving, what is the problem that person has, and how they're going to resolve it. And when they're not clear on those 3 things, they'll go out to the marketplace and find that they don't really get any traction. No one really listens to them, or they don't get anyone come to them because they're not clear on that. So we're really going to get clear on that problem. And part of the opportunity there is this combination of 3 things. We need to make sure that, for us to have a success and get this clarity, we need to find this marketplace where we actually have a client who wants what we're selling, right? There's so many people out there who try to make a product or a service, and they don't go and find a crowd that wants to pay for it. Right? They come up with these fantastic ideas, but no one actually wants to pay the money. So we need like a market, or like I call this a starving crowd. Now, within that, then, if we don't have a marketplace that makes sense, where people want to spend money for the service we're offering, well, we're doomed anyway. But we want to make sure that there's this combination of something that we have skills in. We spoke about that before. You already have skills and abilities. Right? We want to have a business that's tapping into the skills that you have. We don't want to start a business if you need to go off and get those skills. We want to be teaching people that you've already lived, and you understand it, you've got it in your body, you've been through that. And then we also want to find something that we have a level of passion around, because in this area of clarity, I've seen too many people who have the skills, they know there's a market that will pay for it, but they're not passionate about it. And if they're not passionate about it, they kind of get to this stage of fatigue, or they burn out. Ooh, right? Oh, that was meant to say burnout, but I just like I've written bum out, but I mean burnout. The other piece then is that sometimes there's a market and they have a passion for what they're doing, but they don't have the skills. Now, in that situation, people end up really frustrated. They end up banging their head against the wall for a long period of time because they're trying to sell something that they don't have the skills or the ability to do. I met someone a couple of weeks ago. They wanted to help business owners grow their business and attract leads, but they had no idea how to attract leads themselves. They'd never done it themselves. So how can you sell a service that you can't do for yourself, right? So we definitely need to have those skills. Now, the other problem, or the final position, is that if we have a level of skill, we have a level of passion, but there's no market, then it may be fun for you, but it's going to be like financially, it's going to be a bit of a flop, right? You're not going to have any financial success there because there's no market for it. So part of this clarity piece really is about making sure that we have this combination of 3 things. Do we have a market that needs our service? Do we have the skills to serve that market? And is it a market we're passionate about? Don't go into things just because you think that there's money in it. It needs to be something that you're going to be sustained. You're probably going to be doing this for a long period of time. So that's the first place, I think, where a lot of coaches, consultants, experts get burnt out. We need to have that combination of three things. Does that make sense so far? Any questions on that?
Oh, yes, I love that.
Okay,
I
good.
love that. No question.
Then the second one is offer. I think too many people in this profession or this industry just decide to slap an hourly rate on their services, and and then of course they really cap their ability to grow and really cap their earnings. And so what we need to think about is, how do we package up your offer in a compelling way so that actually you're not limited by that? There was a psychologist I worked with a couple of weeks ago, and his question to me was, hey, should I raise my rates? And I think he said from $120 to $160. I'm like, no, we shouldn't do that. Of course, giving yourself a pay increase is a great idea, but what we should do is package up a product or a service where your customers actually want to buy and engage with you for a longer period of time. When he was doing 120 per session, that client had to show up, that client had to pay, had to take a payment every session. But we worked on some packages. How do we package an offer that was irresistible, that client ideally wanted to work with him for 6 months, 12 months, or maybe even longer? And if we put that package together in such a way, it didn't just include the one-on-one time, it included some group components, it included some online content, which is all easy for him to do. His hourly rate went up substantially way beyond that. So if you don't have a clear offer or packaged up in the right way, then you're not going to be able to help as many people as you want, or you're not going to get the income that you want. Now, if we don't get these two things right in our industry, we really have no chance, because we're not going to attract people to us who actually make sense for. And that's the third piece. We need to get attention. So many of the experts around us, they don't seem to attract the level of leads that they want. They don't get people who are interested in what they do. And so we need to find a way for us to generate more leads. So in the same way that we use the example of Luke before, he got himself 520 leads from one strategy, like a referral strategy. Well, I want you to check in right now. If you're in this industry, how many leads are you getting each day, each week, each month? Right? If you're not getting, a flow of leads, you're not getting a substantial amount of people to have conversations with, then that's going to be the core of your business. Now, there's a myriad of ways to generate leads, but very few people kind of do many. They may do a little bit of social media posting, and that may be it for a lot of people. So if you're not generating the kind of leads that you want, then your business isn't going to grow. That may be at the core of it. So I would think that's one of the biggest hurdles that people trip up with. Now, let's say you're skilled at all three of those, you get the leads coming through the door, then is how good are you at having a conversation with people, and during that conversation, having them convert into working with you, right? Because that conversion happens in the conversation, right? My colleague Taki said that. So the conversion happens in the conversation, right? So we need to have a process where we can help people just say yes to you. People don't really want to buy coaching. They really buy the coach. They buy the connection or the relationship with you. So we need a process to do that. Now, I worked through with one of my clients on this. Now he ran a business. Selling kitchens, like making and selling kitchens. Now he is the business owner. When he went out to sell, he converted 80% of the people. Yet his sales team were converting something like 15%. So what we did is we installed a system, a process for them to do the sales and have the conversation. And within a period of 6 months, they went from 15% conversion to 30% conversion. Now you imagine that's doubling his business without attracting any more clients. Now, we didn't stop at 30%. There were more things we did after that, but you imagine doubling your conversion rate that quickly can make a big difference. So do you have a process, and are you, when you do get people into conversation, are you converting them? If not, that's the other bottleneck. And then very, very briefly, the final one then of the coach model is help. Do you have your systems and processes set up in a way so you can deliver your programs, consistently with reliable quality? Have you got the right tech in place? Have you got the right systems and processes in place? So it may be a long-winded answer for what you wanted, but really 5 key things in this industry, then things I've learned in my business is I have to get these 5 things right. If my business isn't flowing, it's not working, there's a problem in one of these 5 areas, and we have to come back and address them all in order.
Wow. Ooh. Wow. Thank you, Kevin. That's so deep diving into, a more clarity and focus. What is your lack? Why your business is not growing? This 5 area of coach. Whoa. I
Yeah,
have
where's,
to
and
speak with my
if you're
team.
listening, where's your gap? Yeah, well, and where's your gap? Like which of those is it in? And then there's specific things we can do in each of those areas that will help move that. And so if you have a gap in one of those, if you're listening, you have a gap in one of those, identify which one it is and let's go to work on it. If you're not having enough leads, let's go and find the lead generation strategies. Let's get you some traffic. Let's get you some flow. If you're not converting, if you're getting those leads, you're not converting, let's find you a way to have a conversation that converts at a significantly higher rate.
Wow. You are such an expert. Woo-hoo!
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Wow. This is priceless interviews.
It's so great to be here with you. I could do this every day. Thank you so much for all of your compliments.
Thank you, Kevin. So I have a next question for you. Ready? Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
Good. So if entrepreneurs or business owner stuck, they're stuck, they don't know where to go. If even they have already business, but maybe 3 months they generate their revenue, and another 3 months they stuck, or whatever the stuck might be. So what to do about it, Kevin, please?
Yes. Hey, well, there's so many different reasons that people can be stuck. Typically it comes down to this thinking. We're normally stuck on some level of thinking, right? There's a story or a belief or a pattern that's running that's not serving us, because if we can get our thinking right, we're going to feel differently, we're going to take different action and get a different result. So stuck just means that we're maybe doing the same thing over and over again, or we're thinking the same thing over and over again. So we may need to find a way to change that thought pattern. Now, there's a bazillion ways for us to do this. Sometimes it's good if we just go and try something new, take a new action. What can I do differently? What can I try that maybe has worked for others? That new action will get us a different result. A different action will get us a different result. Now, that result may be good or it may be bad, right? If it's a positive result, then our level of belief in ourselves goes up. Our level of potential we see for ourselves goes up, and then we feel more likely to take more positive action, and it's like a positive cycle. It goes up, right? Or if we take some action and it doesn't go the way that we want, we may have less belief in ourselves and feel less potential, and then want to take less action, and that's stuck, right? We take less action, get less results, less belief, less potential, and that's stuck. So we need to do one or two things in this mix. Either we take some new action to try something new and learn from it. It works, great. Or if it doesn't work, we learn from it. Or we have to shift our belief or our mindset. There's a story or a pattern or a belief that's running. Now, many ways you can deal with that. Potentially, you can go in listen to hypnosis audios. There's plenty of those around there. Or you can get with a good coach who will listen to those stories and pick them and change them. Sometimes stuck can shift that quickly when someone else hears your story or hears your belief and challenges them. I know I've had that experience myself as a coach. You feel like you're hitting a brick wall and you can't get anywhere else, and then someone challenges one belief or one assumption, and like all of a sudden the world of possibility opens up. So I think if you're stuck, let's work out why. Now, hey, there's a million reasons why people get stuck as well. Sometimes one of the common reasons is overwhelm. People feel overwhelmed because it's just they don't know where to start. There's too many things. There's so much going on, or they've got too many little pieces. They don't know which one to prioritize. So if you're stuck because you're feeling overwhelmed, then I think there's a question you can begin to ask yourself that will help today, which is, and this is a great question, you should write this one down, is what one thing, if I did it now, would have the biggest positive impact on achieving my vision or accomplishing my results? So what one thing, if I did it now? And when you ask that question, whatever the answer is, you just go and do it. Get that one thing done. And then come back and ask that question again. What one thing, if I did it now, would have the biggest positive impact, and do that. So if you're stuck because of overwhelm, start there. It's the most powerful thing.
I love that. I have been stuck as well. I have so much limiting belief in myself. And if I just do what you said, little small step, and it's gain my confidence, because oh my gosh, I have done that. It's easy, right. Actually, it's just doing that. And it's gained my confidence, and I love and I wanting to do more and more and more and more of that.
There you go. I love that. Yeah. And that's a positive thing. You feel good, it feels better, you do more. And so some of the biggest thing is momentum. Like stuck is when there's no momentum. If you get the momentum going and you keep it going, then you're on that track and it keeps happening. And it's so easy to get knocked off a track. Something happens in life, something comes up in life, and then of course you know the momentum breaks, and then you don't get back to it, or you don't get back in the routine. I recognize this in my personal life. I mean, now you're saying this. My podcast was amazing. I was interviewing people every week and getting real amazing insights and wisdom from amazing mentors. And then I think we moved country, and then the routine stopped during that period of time, and then I didn't get back to it, you know. And you can wake up like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years later, you know, why did I stop that?
Yeah,
So
you should not stop.
Well, and I think the trick is some people get stuck and they stay stuck for 2 or 3 years or 2 or 3 decades. The point is catching it sooner. How can we catch that sooner? How do we turn that in from being stuck for a year to being stuck for a month, or being stuck for a week, or being stuck for a day or an hour? And part of that is sometimes in that moment, if you know you're feeling stuck, change your emotional state, get out, go for a walk, do a workout, you know, listen to some music, have a dance, and that can change it all. We do this with the children, you know, before we leave the house. It may be the case, if they're not in a great mood or a great state, we turn the music up, have a 1-minute dance party, we dance around and we play. And then of course we leave the house in a good emotional state. Now, because we shift that emotional state, then they're in a different, they can have a different experience for the day or the week or the month. So sometimes it comes down to just shifting your emotional state. How do you change how you feel? Because if you feel differently, you're going to start thinking differently, and then you take different actions.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Yeah. So thank you. So for those, you know, this interview is priceless, guys. It's priceless. And because of Kevin is here, normally he's such a busy man because he have clients all over the world. And today he give me, you know, a great opportunity to interview him. And I would love to say that Kevin have made a mission. Right? You have made a mission, Kevin, to learn from the world best in human performance and business. And you also share your wisdom and interviews through your podcast. As you mentioned earlier, your podcast called it Life-Changing Questions. So we are going to share your podcast link as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you also have received more than $35,000.
Yes, it's great.
Congratulations. So guys, you see that as Kevin mentioned earlier, pick a role model for yourself, someone that have been success in the area or where you want to go, who you want to be becoming, you know, like Kevin, he's a successful man and have been helped thousands of people around the world. He also a great father, a loving father, and he lives now in Australia with his beautiful wife Jody and and their 2 beautiful and adorable daughters. So give applause to Kevin Bees.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And you know, I think the family is really what drives me. It's so great to have the flexibility to be with the kids and serve them and support them and see them grow. So, and I think when I think back to my corporate days, that's what I was concerned I was missing. I looked at the people around me, and they either didn't have children or didn't see their children. And, you know, that was great for them. They were living the life that they wanted in the way they wanted, but it just wasn't my values. So I think back then I kind of knew I had to change that corporate, you know, situation that wasn't working for me into something where I had the flexibility and the freedom. And with the type of business, you know, that we have, it's highly possible to work with people you love, you know, working the hours that you want, you know, and really having the flexibility and freedom for your life. So, so thank you for mentioning that, because, you know, the kids and my wife are so important for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I love and adorable about you. I respect about you, and you know, you are my biggest fan, and I follow your work for a while. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being here.
My pleasure. Really have enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later. Bye. Bye.